For hundreds of years, books have been our go-to for learning, right? But what if we could give that classic, trusted tool a serious upgrade? Today, we're diving into how you can turn any physical book on your shelf into your own personal, interactive AI tutor. Let's get into it. This quote right here, it's really at the heart of what we're talking about today. It's not about ditching paper. I mean, come on, a lot of us grew up on physical books. The real issue, and where things get interesting, is when that paper is all on its own.
So let's really dig into that problem. We all know that reading on paper is amazing for focus, right? No notifications, no distractions. But once you finish a chapter, what happens? With just paper, the learning kind of just stops.
Okay, check out this slide, because the contrast is huge. On one hand, paper is this fantastic one-way street for information. It forces you to slow down, to really absorb what you're reading. But here's the thing, learning isn't just about taking stuff in. It's about playing with it, questioning it. And that's where paper just hits a wall. It can't quiz you. It can't explain a tricky concept in a different way. And it definitely can't adapt to how you learn.
And this creates a real gap, you know? For a student, it's that frustrating moment where you're not sure if you really get it. For a teacher, it means spending hours and hours making quizzes and summaries, all the stuff a book can't do by itself.
So, if paper is the master of delivery and tech is the master of interaction, the way forward starts to get pretty clear. We don't have to pick a side. The real magic happens when we make them work together.
You know, we're always presented with this false choice. Are you an old-school book person or a new-school tech person? But honestly, that whole way of thinking misses the point. The real answer isn't about choosing one or the other. It's about making a connection. It's about building a bridge between those two worlds. Taking all that focused, expert knowledge from a physical book and plugging it into the interactive power of today's tech. All right, so let's get practical. How do we actually build this bridge? Well, it all kicks off with one simple, super important step, turning your physical pages into a digital file. And look, this isn't about getting rid of your books, it's about giving them a second life, a digital one. So how do you do it? Seriously, it's way easier than you think. You don't need any fancy, expensive gear. In fact, you've probably got everything you need right in your pocket. But why even bother with this step? Well, turning your book into a PDF is like unlocking 3 superpowers for it. First up, search. No more flipping through hundreds of pages for one little definition. Second, portability. Your entire textbook can now live on your phone. And the big one, you unlock AI, the ability to turn that static text into a real conversation. And check out how simple this is. You just pop open a scanning app on your phone, make sure you've got some good light so the text is nice and clear, and start scanning the pages you need. The app does all the hard work, cropping, formatting, and then you just export the whole thing as a single PDF. Done. And you don't need to spend any money here. There are great free apps like Cam Scanner, Adobe Scan, or Microsoft Lens that are perfect for this. They're smart enough to find the page edges and make the text really clear. Just download one, and you're literally minutes away from digitizing your library. Okay, so you've got your PDF. Now for the really cool part, the part where we upload it to an AI tool and finally give that book a voice. Now, this is so important to understand. A general AI, one that's just pulling from the whole internet, can be, well, a little flaky. But when you give it one specific document, your textbook PDF, it instantly becomes an expert on that material. It's not guessing anymore, it's pulling its answers directly from the source you gave it. And this is the magic moment. You're not just chatting with some random bot. You are now, literally, having a conversation with your book. This is the exact point where that static object on your shelf becomes a living, personal tutor. And getting it to work is just about giving it clear instructions. This prompt right here, it's a perfect way to start. You're laying down the ground rules. Stick to the book, explain things simply, quiz me, and hey, if I'm confused, try again. You're telling it to teach from the book, not to replace it. Okay, so we've built the bridge, we've brought the tutor to life, but what does this actually look like when you're studying? What can your new, upgraded book actually do for you?
Well, the biggest change is this. Your book can finally talk back to you. Think about it. Learning is no longer a one-way street. It's a dialogue. This is the difference between sitting through a lecture and actually having a conversation with the professor. It turns passive reading into an active, back-and-forth process.
For students, this is an absolute game changer. You're stuck on a tough concept at 2 in the morning, you can get an explanation right then and there. You want to make sure you actually understood that last chapter? Just ask it to quiz you. This whole process turns reading into active recall, which science tells us is how you build real long-term mastery. And what about for educators? This method doesn't replace you, it actually extends your reach. All your curated materials, your expertise, that's still the foundation. But now AI can help your students explore that material in a million different ways, which saves you time and scales your teaching way beyond the classroom. So when you step back and look at the big picture, you see this isn't about some flashy new gadget that's going to replace everything we know. It's about taking something fundamental, something we already trust, and just making it better. And this really gets to the heart of it. The future of learning isn't paper or technology. It's paper working with technology. It's about taking the best of both worlds and putting them together.
Because that's what this is really all about, isn't it? We don't have to throw out the basics. We hold on to what works, the deep focus of reading, the value of a well-written book. We just give those basics a 21st century upgrade.
So as we wrap this up, I'll just leave you with this one question. Take a look at your bookshelf. Think about that dense textbook, or that stack of class notes, or that nonfiction book you've been wanting to really master. Which one are you going to upgrade first?